If you keep holding yourself back because what people might think, this video is for you. Day 5 and 6 of my journal entry series. I want to be honest about something. I've been going back and forth in my head about how I want to show up on this platform and in life. Because I want to be more consistent and to build something. I want to keep posting and stay disciplined with it, but at the same time, I don't want to lose myself trying to do that. I don't want to sound rehearsed or to just say things that sound good, and I definitely don't want to give advice that feels surface level or fake. So I've kind of just been sitting in this space where I'm figuring out how to be consistent while still being completely real and genuine. I don't think I have a perfect solution to that yet, but I do know that I'd rather show up a little messy and honest than polished and not fully myself. Because I'm still figuring things out as I'm talking about them, even with this topic, strengthening your mind, your habits, your choices. I'm not speaking from a place of having it all together. I'm speaking from being in the middle of it. I've been thinking a lot lately about what it actually means to be strong. Not in the way people usually talk about it, but more mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually. Because the way you train your mind will affect how you move through life. It shows up in your decisions, your habits, what you give into and what you walk away from. And I've noticed that when my mind feels hectic, the only things that really calm me down are prayer, nature, and speaking to my loved ones. There's something about it that slows everything down and gives me space to breathe again, to think clearly again. And I think that's been showing me how important it is to take care of all parts of yourself, your mind, your body, and your spirit. Because when one of them feels off, you can feel it everywhere. I've also been realizing how much my thoughts about other people affect me. I've had this habit for a while where I assume people don't like me, and I think a part of that came from trying to protect myself. If I expect less, then I won't be as disappointed, and if someone does like me, it feels like a bonus instead of something I risk losing. But at the same time, that mindset kept me stuck. Because in the past I would try to prove myself to people while also still being myself. And I've never been the most talkative person. If I'm not comfortable, I get really quiet. And for a long time, that's all people knew me as, the quiet one. I didn't really start making real friends in college until the end of my junior year. And when I look back on it, it wasn't that people didn't like me, it's that they didn't really know me. I wasn't putting myself in spaces to be known. I wasn't getting out of my comfort zone either. And honestly, I didn't want to. But once I started to open up a little and actually be around more people, I realized something. I don't need to prove myself to be accepted, and I definitely don't need to be for everyone either. The people who naturally connect with me will, and the ones who don't, that's okay. And that shift has been more freeing than anything, because now I'm not trying to perform for connection, I'm just allowing it to happen. That realization started to change something in me, because when you stay in that mindset for too long, you don't even notice how much it affects the way you move throughout life. You start second-guessing yourself, holding back in moments you don't need to, and overthinking things that don't actually need that much thought. But I didn't always see it that way. Even with posting, I didn't want to start at first. I kept thinking who might see it, people I know, people from my past, and what they might think. And even after I started, that feeling didn't just disappear. It was still there in the background. But at some point I had to ask myself, why would I let the thought of someone else's opinion stop me from expressing myself, or stop me from doing something that could actually help someone else, especially people I don't even talk to anymore? And even deeper than that, if someone I do know sees this and judges me for it, maybe they're not meant to be in my life the way I thought they were. And that's not me being negative, that's just me being honest about growth, because I'm starting to understand that strengthening your mind isn't just about discipline. It's also about how you see yourself, and how much power you give to other people's opinions. Because the truth is, when you start building something for yourself, when you start stepping into something new for yourself, not everyone is going to understand it, and some people might even feel uncomfortable by it. And if your mind isn't strong, this can make you shrink back. And I don't want to keep shrinking. I don't want to keep holding myself back from things I feel like I should be doing just because I'm worried about how it looks to other people. And that goes for other areas of my life too. Even something as simple as doing things alone. There were so many times where I wouldn't go somewhere or try something just because I didn't have someone to go with. And I used to let that stop me. But now I'm realizing it's actually okay to do things by yourself. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but the more you do it, the more you realize it's actually kind of peaceful. You get to move at your own pace, and you notice things you normally wouldn't. It almost feels like you're learning how to be with yourself again. And I think that's something a lot of people don't take the time to learn. Because we're so used to needing noise or people around us that being alone can feel unfamiliar. But it's actually something worth getting comfortable with. Because at the end of the day, if you're not okay with being with yourself, it's going to be hard to move through life confidently. And all of this connects back to strengthening your mind because there's always going to be temptation. Temptation to stay comfortable, temptation to go back to habits that don't help you, and temptation to choose what feels easy in the moment instead of what's actually good for you. And I'm not perfect with that at all, but I'm learning that the more I take care of my mind, my body, and my spirit, the more aware I become. And that awareness helps me make better decisions. Even with posting, there's still pressure. Wanting people to like it, wanting people to take something from it, and wanting it to be meaningful. And I know I have a tendency to be a perfectionist, wanting everything to be right before I put it out. But I'm learning that not everything is going to be perfect, especially when you're starting. You're not always going to have the best setup, or the best tools, or everything figured out, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it anyways. Because this is more than just posting videos for me. It's me stepping out of my comfort zone, learning how to be okay with being seen, and letting go of needing everything to be perfect, and just allowing myself to grow in real time. And I think if there's anything I'm taking from all of this, it's not that you should just rush into everything or ignore your thoughts, but that you shouldn't let fear or the need for approval be the thing that stops you. If there's something that's been sitting on your heart, something that keeps coming back to you, maybe it's worth paying attention to. It's worth taking a step towards it, even if it's small, imperfect, and even if you're still figuring it out. You don't have to have everything together to begin. You don't even have to be fully confident. You just have to be willing to move a little differently than you did before. And I'm saying that as someone who's still learning to do the same. Thank you.